Reports say 3 people have been critically injured at a Dallas ICE facility after shots rang out this morning.
Police responded to calls around 7 a.m. local time. Agents reportedly approached the suspect, who then apparently shot himself.
Let's go to Griff Jenkins in studio with some of the information that he's learning. Do we have Griff?
Yeah, good morning, guys. Lawrence, Ainsley, and Brian. This is what ICE fears most, and that is an attack on them. Fox can confirm through ICE sources that there was this attack this morning at the Dallas facility. Shots were fired into the sally port of this facility along the freeway there in Dallas, and the ICE confirms that the shooter is down, a self-inflicted wound, and that 3 individuals have been hit. Their condition unknown. We're continuing to try and learn more about this as you look live here and can see the tremendous law enforcement response. But ICE telling me in no clearer way that they call this, quote, a clear attack on ICE. Now, this comes as we have seen a more than 1,000% increase of assaults on ICE officers. And now this morning, tragically, we're learning that this shooter apparently fired indiscriminately into the sally port. Unclear whether ICE officers or detainees or who may have been injured, but at least 3 individuals have been shot. The shooter is down through a self-inflicted wound. We'll bring you more as we get it, guys.
Griff, just working back some sources back and forth here. And by the way, this information is very fluid, but from what I'm hearing from my sources, this happened as they were unloading some of these detainees when the shots started to ring out. Are you hearing the same thing?
That's exactly right, Lawrence, and that's why I mentioned that sally port. So apparently it occurred when detainees were being brought into the sally port. This shooter, we're not sure exactly where he was located, but was able to shoot into that sally port and struck at least 3 people. That shooter now is down from this self-inflicted wound, so we may not know exactly what his plan was, what they were intending to do, other than to shoot people this morning at an ICE facility. We're learning more as we get it, and particularly we're interested, obviously, in learning about the conditions of the 3 individuals that were struck this morning.
Yeah, that's I-35. The east side is where you see most of the traffic. People are probably slowing down to watch and see what's going on. Look at all of the police cars. There's so many lights that go all the way up to the top. This is the access road in Texas. You have your main highway, and then you always have those access roads that run alongside or parallel to the highway.
Hey, Griff, I also noticed that some people are reporting the sniper was on a rooftop. Have you heard that?
So we don't have that confirmed ourselves, but I'm talking directly to ICE authorities, and we're going to learn more about that. But I did see a local report that there would be a rooftop. And Brian, as you look at both the map on our screen as well as the surrounding area of the law enforcement response, you can see several rooftops. And for anyone that's, been to a facility like this, the sally port is sort of the wide open garage where you bring detainees, excuse me, not just in ICE, but in law enforcement, the police station, if you will. There's a place where they bring these people to be processed in. And so if indeed this individual was able to find a rooftop with a direct line of sight into that sally port, that would be tremendously dangerous. But we'll learn more, I guess, as we hear from the ICE authorities directly.
So just big picture as we zoom in on this story, Griff, this is the second facility in Texas to be attacked where an agent has been shot. We don't know if an agent was shot in this case, but it's the second attack that we've experienced in Texas. They had started to reinforce some of these buildings, bring in more assets to protect them, yet something like this still happens, Griff.
Yeah, and it's a great point that you raise, Lawrence, because I think what you will likely see, and we're already seeing it. Remember, I was on the first couple of days out in Chicago for Operation Midway Blitz, and the ICE facilities there, the Broadview facility, if you will, the protesters could get right up to the gate. I'm hearing that they're already, even before this morning, starting to harden that perimeter around that for fears of attacks. And remember, we have heard from ICE officials time and time again that it is the Democrat rhetoric, some of the hateful rhetoric towards ICE agents that drives incidents just like the one we're watching tragically play out this morning on our screens. And that's why they're trying to secure these areas even more so from potential threats, as you've got, as I mentioned, 1,000% plus increase on assaults on agents.
Also, think about this. The cops responded to a shooting at an ICE facility. In certain cities, it's very hard to get the cops to respond to ICE. They're not allowed to coordinate. In situations like this, even if this was a sanctuary city, they would respond, though, right?
100%, Brian. Listen, when shots ring out, every law enforcement officer is going to run towards it because that's what they're sworn to do, to protect and uphold the law. But, you know, whether or not it's a sanctuary city or not, you certainly draw a line when any violence, not just shootings, but obviously even the assaults. It's something that I think you are going to see ICE respond to very strongly today in public statements about not tolerating this sort of attack.
So just some background here. I know yesterday in Fort Worth, Texas, which is a suburb of the DFW Metroplex, there was a big operation from ICE yesterday. So tensions were already high, had protesters out there on the scene as well, Griff. We're hearing preliminarily, we don't know for sure, we cannot confirm it, but this is the high levels of ICE that they're thinking that 3 of the detainees were the people that are shot. Are you learning anything about that, Griff?
We can't confirm that, but I am hearing similar reporting from that, Lawrence. And, you know, when I spoke right before I came on the air, ICE was very clear to explain, we don't know this individual's motive. But what we do know is this was a clear attack on ICE, and shots were fired as in the Sally Port, the agents were bringing detainees in. So it is very possible, indeed, that this was an attack directly on ICE and that detainees have been struck. Hopefully, everyone that is struck will be okay. We just don't know any of the details yet, and we'll bring them to you as fast as we get them.
Okay.
Roger that.
Thank you, Griff.
I just think this is something. I just think it's something that we need to have a national conversation about all these protests getting close, Ainsley, to the officers as they're trying to do their job.
Right. Local news in Dallas is saying it happened around 7 o'clock in the morning, their time, Central Time, so that'd be 8 o'clock our time, so 45 minutes ago. And it's along I-35. You can see there all the police cars on the access road. The ICE facility is right there off of that access road. And they're saying that 3 people have been wounded, 3 people were shot, and when they went to detain the suspect died from self-inflicted gunshot wounds.
Right. So if you think about this, in light of so many politicians are grandstanding against ICE as if they're the bad guys, and that's not just a different version of defund the police, but you think about Governor Pritzker, all the things he wants to do to incite his people to push back against ICE. And then Governor Newsom has a big press conference saying, you know, what are you afraid of? Take off your mask. What are you hiding from? Basically show some guts. This is what they're hiding from. Because doing their job is get them in jeopardy because a lot of them have been radicalized by how they're being described by fellow members of the political circle.
So, of course, Brian, I think of what you're talking about, which is the rhetoric is high. We look at the numbers right now on the assaults and violence against ICE is up over 1,000%. But also, from a law enforcement perspective, I'm looking at the threat level of who's being targeted. We don't know the motivations, but we also have to think about snipers now. This is like the 3rd attack that we're hearing about, someone with a sniper. Obviously, the enemy, whoever they may be, whatever their motives, think this is the way to go after people. There's an opening now. We secure targets for close protection, but from the roofs, they feel like this is where they can get people.
Right, so here we are in Dallas, Texas, a place known for law and order, but a city that has a problem because of what's happened over the last 4 years. Tens tens of thousands of illegals in the millions have come through Texas, and some bust right through, and some stayed, come across our border because the border was wide open, and now it's the job of this administration to round them up. And there seems to be resistance in some places because of that, and this could be allies of some of the illegals that are going to be shipped back home.
Well, also you have the mayor, Eric Johnson, who is the only Republican of a major city. He also talked about, when it comes to the local police there as well, that they will cooperate with those detainers in ICE. Obviously, in the state of Texas, sanctuary cities, it is illegal in our state to have sanctuary cities, but they've been cooperating with the local law enforcement as well. But anytime you have shots fired at law enforcement, you're going to see people from the state agency. I'm already learning that the Department of Public Safety, DPS, they are on the scene as well. Fish and Wildlife are on the scene. FBI from the local offices have responded as well. Obviously, the ICE officials are there on the ground. We have not been able to confirm from a definite standpoint of who were those three that were shot, but this happened as they were unloading the detainees at that local facility, Ainsley.
One of the local news outlets in Dallas says the headline is 3 people critically wounded at Dallas ICE facility. 1 shooter found dead as police search for possible sniper. So if that's the case, I don't know if we've gotten that confirmed from the police, but if this was a sniper, we already saw this happen in Butler. We saw this happen with Charlie Kirk. We're seeing this. This seems to be something, and we're worried about copycats.
That's exactly it. My sources in ICE are telling me that shooter, as they approached that shooter, he killed himself from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Obviously, all of this information is fluid. We're verifying all of this through our law enforcement sources as they go through our newsroom right now. But again, if you're just now joining the program right now, shots fired at an ICE facility in Dallas as they were unloading detainees in the facility right there. We don't know for sure if the detainees were shot. There's some reports that suggest that, but we haven't been able to confirm that. Also, ICE Director Todd Lyons has given an interview saying that law enforcement also may have been hit as well. So a fluid situation there on the ground in Dallas, Texas.
Fox 4 is reporting the shooter, who police identified as a white man, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head as agents approached.